doing a request here today. Someone wants to see a hockey ramble. I'm going to ramble about hockey playoffs start. I'm going to be putting this up Monday. They start Monday night. Tomorrow night I'm filming this Sunday. But I'm going to talk briefly about basketball as well. So those playoffs just started yesterday. I'll kind of just discuss the matchups here. I actually didn't know some of the West matchups. I knew the East one, so I had to call the whole thing here. But in the East, you got Boston playing Florida. Carolina had beaten Florida, and the Islanders got in. The last day of the season, the Islanders had to get in. The Penguins missed out for the first time in 16 years. In some ways, for the Penguins, that might be good because now it might lead the franchise to kind of start rebuilding while still having, Crosby and Malkin and some of their other guys. Obviously, they're older, but they're still, excellent players. So I think you need to start to rebuild there. Sometimes, 16-year run, they went to freaking what? They go to 4 cups. They won the 3, and they lost to the Red Wings and beat the Red Wings, and then they beat the Sharks and the Predators. So they had success over that run, and they had like 90 points or 91 points. So it's not even that they were terrible. The Islanders, Panthers, and Islanders, even the Sabres to an extent, were battling for those last positions. But Islanders got into 7, and it was funny. I'm like, talking to my friend, other people that know that Islander fans, you don't want Boston because they just set a record for points and I think wins as well, right, in the season. But you also don't want the Hurricanes because the Hurricanes typically do well against the Islanders. The Islanders have struggled with the Hurricanes for a while now. They got swept by them back in, 18-19 in the second round. Of course, the team's different now, and so is theirs. Whoever the Islanders got there is going to be a tough as hell series for them. I'm not saying the Islanders can't win those. I'm not even saying the Panthers can't beat the Bruins. In hockey, this kind of crazy stuff happens all the time. Team wins, it breaks a record in points, loses. The Lightning, before they, afterwards they went to the 3 straight cups, won 2 in a row. But the year before, the first year, the first year that COVID screwed up, they had like 130 points or something. They got swept by by Blue Jackets. Like, that's what makes hockey so great over other sports is that I swear, like half the time, a series underdog's going to win. It's crazy, but I personally think they will beat the Panthers in like 5. Of course, I'll probably be wrong on every one of these predictions, right? I'm actually going to predict every series. I think the Bruins do get through there. I think the Bruins are just a juggernaut right now. If they lose, and I would have said the same if they played the Islanders, I would want the Islanders to win. But realistically, I would be like, I hope they can at the very least have a competitive series, right? I want to see the Islanders do that against Hurricanes as well. But if I was guessing, I would say they have a better chance to beat the Hurricanes. But like I said, the Hurricanes do well against the Islanders. So I hope the series is tight. But I think if the Bruins are going to lose, I think it's going to be something that happens in like a conference final or Stanley Cup final scenario. I do think they will probably get through the first 2 rounds at least if they were to lose. I said the Islanders are playing the Hurricanes. The Islanders moved to 7. It's going to be tough for them. I say, and I could be wrong on this. Is how I feel about it. I feel like the Islanders, the Hurricanes are like I don't think they're leaps and bounds better than the Islanders, but they are absolutely, I feel, a better version of the Islanders team. I feel like their teams are very similar, except that the Islanders have Sorkin, so the goaltending matchups, whoever they play, will be close to or even in favor of the Islanders. But, defense, offense, a lot of the other teams will stack up better, and I just think overall the Hurricanes have a better... They're like the Islanders, but they're just like a better version of them. That's how I feel, honestly. Because I feel like they play a similar kind of style. Although the Hurricanes absolutely have a better offense. But I think they both try a defensive kind of style of game. I hope the Islanders can make that a good series. I want them to win. I think they could win, yes. They could also lose. As a fan, I'm going to say, of course, but what I will say this. I hope they make the series competitive. If they can't win the series, I don't want them getting swept. Of course, you can get swept and lose every game by a goal and lose 3 of the games in overtime, and that's a close sweep. I go back to real quickly when the Kings beat the Rangers in the finals. Everybody's like, they steamrolled them. Yeah, they beat them in 5, but I think the Rangers lost, at least 2 overtime games, if not double overtime games in that series. That was a tighter 5-game series. It wasn't a steamrolling. Maple Leafs Lightning here we've got as well. The Maple Leafs got to get out of the first round, right? If you're a Maple Leafs fan, you're like, let's do it. And part of you, I don't want to speak for Maple Leafs fans, but if I was a Maple Leafs fan, I'd be like, of course they got to get stuck. They have a great season. What do they have, 111 points or something, and they lose their division by probably 20-something points. That's nuts because you're not expecting a team in your division to have a historical season, right? Now, Lightning seem to be falling off a little. You gotta remember they just did 3 cup runs in a row, so they're probably also tired at this point. But they're still Lightning. Yeah, they still won their conference last year. Not obviously they lost to the Avalanche, but you can't take them lightly. And that's the thing. I feel like the Leafs need to win that division and get a team like the Panthers or even the Islanders to where you have a better shot. That doesn't mean, once again, you'll win, but you have a better shot. You think, they're playing the Leafs, the Lightning, no big deal. The Lightning are still coming off going to the Cup Finals 3 years in a row. They still have a good team. That's going to be a tough series, I think. They need to get out of the first round, though. And I've said in the past, I'm not one of those Islander fans that every fan base, I feel like every half of every fan base in every sport is annoying and a pain in the ass and stupid. But I'm not one of those Islander fans. When Tavares first left, I wasn't even necessarily pissed at him. I've talked about this in the past in sport rambles, hockey rambles. I was almost more pissed at Gart Snow for not trading him the year before, because Tavares is all buddy-buddy with Gart Snow, and you should not be buddy-buddy with your GM. And he's like, don't trade me, we'll make it work, or whatever. Gart Snow should be like, listen, maybe that's so, but I can't take the risk of you leaving and not getting anything in return. He's a great player. They would have gotten stuff for him. It didn't. I was more pissed about that. I was like, he was going to choose between 2 teams. It was the Maple Leafs and the Islanders. He was not going anywhere else. And I wasn't I'm not going to get that pissed about it. What are you going to do? The Islanders end up making the playoffs the following year and having their best run that they've had in ages. As an Islander fan, it's been so long. What am I going to do? Complain about that? I'm not going to, whatever. Although I was shocked because this is how it would have normally went for the Islanders. Star player leaves, right? Your team now is garbage and you have 50 points and Tavares wins the cup in his first year with the Maple Leafs. It actually didn't happen that way. The Islanders actually went further than the Maple Leafs in the playoffs. So for the Islander franchise, that's almost unheard of. Usually it's your star's gone, you're now going to suck for another 3 years, and he's going to reap the rewards and get cups. It didn't happen, though. At least not yet. At this point, if the Maple Leafs won this year, I wouldn't, I'm not going to, why would I care? He's been gone for years now. Who cares? I don't know. I can understand booing him at his first game back, but fans, they don't let shit go. I don't know why. It's not like he left and he was like, you're all assholes, fuck this franchise, I don't know. But that's how fans get. They get very passionate, right? And, Oh, here's another. I think this is going to be the best series of the whole first round. Admittedly, I'm not super in tune with a lot of the teams in the West. In terms of like how they've done against each other, those teams that did against, what they did against each other. But the Rangers Devils series, I think, is going to be a great series. I think this goes 7. I'll be wrong here, and one of them will sweep the other. But it's a classic series, right? It's crazy to think that the Islanders last played the Rangers in the playoffs in 92, 93, 93, 94. It was destruction. The Rangers steamrolled them. That was a steamrolling. Steamrolled them onto the way to winning the cup. They actually played the Devils, I think, to 7 games in the conference finals, and then they went 7 against the Canucks. 2 tight series. I don't know who they played in the second round. But it's crazy to think that the Islanders, since 93, 94, the Islanders have not played. And they probably, what do they go in the playoffs, like 3. Maybe they're 10th or 11th. No, wait. 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4. Oh, then they went randomly in like 6, 7. And then they had 3 with Tavares. So you've got 4, 5, 7. And then you have 8, 9, 10. This would be their 11th time in the playoffs. Either way, it's crazy that they have not played the Rangers again in the playoffs. Or they haven't just played the Devils either. It's kind of crazy that they haven't at least met up. I mean, I know the Devils missed a bit, and even the Rangers, when the Islanders made 3 in a row in the early 2000s, the Rangers were on a streak of not making the playoffs for like 4 or 5 years. It's crazy, though. You almost want to see that, like, especially in New York, in the metropolitan area. I think the fan bases are kind of clamoring for like a Rangers-Islanders, especially the Rangers-Islanders. They want that. I think we all do. Even though the loser of the series is going to have to hear it, but I think they want it. I think that's going to be a great series. Devils had a great year. Rangers had a great year. I think that's going to be a good series. And then the West, you have Avalanche versus the Kraken. So the Kraken get into the playoffs in their second year in existence. I think Colorado wins that series, but I think it's cool to see the Kraken in the playoffs so early. I keep saying this. I think Lamoriello backed the Islanders because they have Eberle. The Kraken took Eberle in the expansion draft. I think Lamoriello made a mistake by not protecting him and maybe keeping Bailey unprotected because Eberle's a better player. Got Dallas in the Wild in there as well. Like I said, I don't know enough about these teams. Like, I follow and look at the points and stuff, but I don't know. As Dallas has home ice. Dallas actually lost the division. Colorado won their division the last game of the season. They beat it out by a point. So I assume Dallas is pretty good as well. I don't know how that series is going to go, honestly. That's the thing with hockey. Just all these series could be tight. Hockey is so unpredictable. It's crazy. Vegas versus Winnipeg. So how many? Let's see. We've got 1, 2, 3. There's 3 Canadian teams in the playoffs this year, so they've got 3 kind of shots to get that cup final, the cup that they haven't had since the Canadiens 1993. Of course, is there said this right now? I always forget this because I know Quebec left for Colorado and Winnipeg left for Atlanta, but then came back, or didn't come back, but ended up with the team again. We got Vancouver, Edmonton, Calgary, Winnipeg, Toronto, Ottawa, and Montreal. They have 7. Obviously, the percentages are not in Canada's favor because they only have the 7 teams compared to the U.S. having, what do they got, like 25 or some shit? What is the NHL up to, 30 or 32? I don't even know anymore. I mean, once you get to the playoffs, it doesn't matter because there's 16 teams, so they have, technically all 7 of those teams can make it. And the funny thing is, it's the same thing. Like, I feel like Montreal and Ottawa don't want Toronto to win. They're like, no, we don't care if we get another cup in Canada. We don't want Toronto to win. And it'd be vice versa for the other teams, and like Edmonton and Calgary and stuff are probably like, no. Vancouver's probably like, no, we don't want, I don't know. Once again, I could be wrong on that as well. I'm thinking rivalries and not. But like I said, though, we only have 7 teams. I guess at the max they would have had 8 when Quebec was up there as well. The Nordiques. It's always going to be tougher because there's more teams in the U.S. What do you like? But Vegas, I don't know. Vegas, though, pretty good franchise from the right out of the gate. Didn't they go to the Cup final in their first year in existence? Like, what? Is Leonard still their goaltender? I don't even know. No, he left, right? Who's he on? The Blackhawks? I can't even remember anymore. Like I said, I don't know how these West ones are going to go. Same thing, Oilers and Kings, I think, is actually going to be a good series. I do know, I didn't realize the Kings were as good as they were this year. I thought they were kind of starting to rebuild, but apparently they had over 100 points and they were solid. Pretty sure they beat the Islanders both times they played them. Obviously, the Oilers had a great year as well. McDavid went over 150 points, the first player that's done that in years. They have Draisaitl still. Nugent Hopkins went over 100 points. I think goaltending is going to be the issue for them if they struggle, unless they're scoring goals like crazy. That should be a good series, though. I think that's actually going to be the best series in the West. And I think the Rangers and Devils are going to be the best series in the East. I'm not going to make picks here. Honestly, maybe I'll make a cup pick maybe even the second round. I don't know enough, I don't know. If the Islanders can somehow get past the Hurricanes, they will either play. Actually, will they? Do they reseed in the NHL? Because if the Islanders win, would they have to play Boston if Boston won? Or do they not reseed? I know the NBA, I think, reseeds. Because if they don't, that means the Islanders would play. If they get past the Hurricanes, it's a big if. They'd be able to play the Devils or the Rangers. So. Yeah, but let me know what fans you are of what teams. NBA started yesterday. I'm going to talk. This went on longer than I thought it would. I was like, I may need to fill in time, but NBA. A couple games. Like I said, I'm filming Sunday. A couple games are played on Saturday. The Kings beat the Warriors game 1. That was the Kings' first playoff win in a long time. Good for that franchise. I don't know. I think the Warriors will probably take that series. You never know. That's still a good move in the right direction for that franchise because they were good for a little bit with the Chris Webber years and Peja Stojakovic, those guys. Vlade Divac, Mike Bibby, right? They had a good team back then. It's always good to see teams that haven't had success in a while get those big wins in the playoffs and just make the playoffs. The Knicks beat the Cavs in a good game 1. That was a tight game till the end yesterday. I think I don't know. I'm trying to think of all the series. I don't feel like looking that one up, but I know the teams that played yesterday, and the Celtics beat the Hawks, and the Sixers beat the Nets as well. The Sixers got a good shot, man. And he probably could win the MVP this year. I said I'm not super in tune with basketball. Like I know what the records are, but I'm trying to get more back into basketball, like I used to be. They have. I think that Knicks Cavs series is going to go 6 or 7. It's kind of nice, even though I'm not a Knicks fan, to see them in the playoffs. Because I'm in New York, obviously, but it's nice to kind of see them in there for whatever reason. And the Nets made it too. It's the first time in a while that in hockey and football, hockey and basketball, that all 5 teams made it. You got Brooklyn. Even when Brooklyn was New Jersey, they still, because they're so close. Like the Nets, where the Devils play, is closer to the Rangers. Actually, maybe it isn't now because the Islanders play in Elmont now. But they might be. The Devils are probably still closer to the Garden than the Islanders are to the Garden. So all these teams are close. So it's the first time in a while that all 5 of them made it. In hockey, you got the Devils, Rangers, and Islanders. And then you have the Nets and the Knicks both in there. I think Boston's going to beat the Hawks. I think there wasn't a lot of great teams in the league. No 60-win teams in the West. The top seed in the West was Denver, I believe, right? They had 53 wins. So the Lakers are playing the Grizzlies. Clippers are playing the Thunder. The Thunder, Durant is healthy and he stays healthy. They could be the favorites just because he's that good. And they have Devin Booker, Chris Paul. Milwaukee's going to be tough too. They're great with Giannis. They were the top seed in the East by a game, I think, over the Celtics. And the Heat are playing the Bucks because they got in late. They would have been the 7th seed, but then they lost their first play-in game. This play-in shit. So the 8th. The Heat will give the Bucks trouble though, because Heat have a good team. The East is a bit deeper than the West. I think. Like I said, Grizzly Lakers. The Lakers will somehow get into like the second round. If LeBron is healthy and going, he's gonna, he's LeBron. So that doesn't mean they'll win it. I don't think they'll win it, but I think just having him on the team and Anthony Davis, but it's more so LeBron. He'll push them. What were the other ones in the West? Who's Denver playing? Denver is playing. I forget who the other team was that won. Lakers are playing the Grizzlies. Kings are playing the Warriors. Clippers are playing the Suns. Who was the other team? The Thunder didn't make it, right? And the Pelicans didn't make it. Who was the other team in the play-in? Timberwolves. Timberwolves are playing the Nuggets, I believe, right? Like I said, I don't know enough about a lot of those teams. I know some players, but I don't know, I think the Suns will beat the Clippers, but yeah, I guess that was a little basketball talk. I might do more basketball talk when it gets, maybe get like conference finals type thing, but anyway, yeah, that's just a request for a hockey ramble, and I threw some basketball in there as well. And thanks for checking this out, and have a good day.